Hello, welcome to my channel StuckFiles. Today we will discuss about why it sucks to be a defensive back against elite receivers. You're fast that you're focused. You've trained your body to change direction in a split second. You know the playbook inside out. You've studied hours of film. You've memorized route trees. You've learned how to read a quarterback's eyes. And still, you're one bad step away from being a meme, from being torched, for being embarrassed on national television by a highlight that lives forever. This is the life of a defensive back, and it sucks, especially when you're lined up across from the NFL's elite receivers. The freaks of nature with Olympic speed, basketball wingspans, and hands that never miss. They know where they're going. You don't. They have the advantage. Always. Every route is a test of your balance, discipline, instincts, and confidence. And if you hesitate just once, you're toast. It doesn't matter how many great plays you make. Fans only remember the one you missed, the touchdown you gave up, the ankles you lost, the moment you looked human while guarding someone who isn't. In this video, we're breaking down why it absolutely sucks to be a defensive back against elite receivers. From the pressure, to the unfair rules, to the insane talent on the other side of the line, to the mental battle of surviving in a game that's designed to make you lose. Let's talk about the most stressful job in football, where perfection is expected and failure is broadcast in slow motion. Section 1. The receiver always has the edge. Here's the dirty secret nobody likes to admit. The wide receiver always knows the answer to the test. You're just guessing. Every single snap is a mental chess match, except your opponent starts with an extra queen on the board. Receivers know the route. You don't. They know the timing. You're reacting. They know when the ball's coming. You're just hoping your instincts are right. You could have perfect coverage for 3 seconds. But if your hips open the wrong way, just once, you're beat. And it's not just about speed. It's about deception. Elite receivers are artists of disguise. They sell fake breaks. They manipulate leverage. They use footwork to put you in a blender. By the time you realize what route they're running, it's already too late. And here's the kicker. Even when you do everything right, you can still lose. You jam them at the line. You flip your hips at the perfect time. You stick to them like glue. And still, the quarterback puts the ball in a spot only they can reach. They extend. They catch it. Touchdown. And the camera pans to you, the guy trailing the play, as if it's your fault the throw was flawless and the catch was superhuman. That's the life of a defensive back. You live in isolation. You battle in silence. And you're blamed in public. And the worst part? There's no real way to win the matchup. If you lock a guy down for 90% of the game, but get beat once, that's the play everyone remembers. Your one mistake becomes a GIF, a tweet, a clip on SportsCenter. No one's highlighting the 8 incompletions you forced. Only the one bomb you gave up. Because in this league, cornerbacks don't get grace. They get blamed. You can't grab. You can't hold. You can't be too physical. But the guy across from you, he can push off. He can run free. He can use every inch of the field. You're a man coverage, but the rules are playing zone against you. And every week, the receivers get faster. Taller, more explosive. They're built like track stars with ballerina feet. And you just try not to end up on a highlight reel. Section 2. The rules aren't on your side. Let's get some things straight. Being a defensive back isn't just hard because of the athletes you're facing. It's hard because the entire rule book is built against you. In today's NFL, everything favors the offense. Scoring sells tickets. Big plays draw views. Touchdowns make headlines. So when it comes to calling games, refs are trained, whether they admit it or not, to protect the receiver. What does that mean for you? It means you're walking on eggshells every snap. You press a receiver too hard off the line. Illegal contact. You play physical downfield, pass interference. You try to turn and locate the ball, and the moment you misjudge the angle, boom, spot foul 40 yards. You can't breathe on the guy without risking a flag. Meanwhile, he can push off, chop your arms, hand fight the whole way down the field, and no one bats an eye. There's no such thing as a fair fight, not when the rules themselves are the opponent. And don't forget, these rules aren't just enforced, they're exaggerated. A receiver stumbles, he flops. A pass sails high, he throws up his arms, begging for a flag. And the crowd, the home crowd, screams like you committed a felony. Refs see it. They feel that pressure. And suddenly you're getting flagged, not for what you did, but for how it looked. Welcome to DB life. You have to cover the fastest humans on Earth, on an island, without touching them, without guessing wrong, without falling for a double move, and without reacting late to a pass you can't even see coming. And if you do everything right, it's still a 50-50 call. And those calls, they rarely go your way. The worst part, your mistakes cost the most. If a lineman misses a block, the quarterback gets sacked. Big deal. If a linebacker misses a tackle, it's a 10-yard game. Move on. But if you, a DB, mess up, it's 6 points. Momentum shift. Game-changing highlight. And the stat sheet? It doesn't care if the coverage was tight. If the receiver caught it, it's on you. If the ref made a bad call, it's still on you. If the safety blew the help assignment, guess what? Still on you. Because in the eyes of the fans, you're the last guy they see. They don't care about the context. They don't watch the all 22 film. They see a touchdown and your jersey number trailing behind. That's it. That's the narrative. You're the villain. You're the weak link. You're the dude who can't cover anybody. Never mind that you shut down one of the top receivers for 58 minutes. Never mind that the quarterback had all day to throw. Never mind that you were 1 inch from a game-saving deflection. None of it matters. Because the rules, they weren't made to protect you. They were made to spotlight your mistakes. So when the game is on the line, and you're lined up across from a 6 feet 4 inches receiver with 4.3 speed, and the ball is in the air, all you can do is pray. Pray that your coverage is perfect, that your hands are clean, that the throw isn't unstoppable, and that the ref keeps his flag in his pocket just this once. Because out here, one mistake doesn't just cost you the game, it can cost you your career. Section 3. Isolation, humiliation, and no second chances. There's no lonelier place in football than the island. That little stretch of turf, about 8 feet wide and 30 yards long, where a cornerback lines up across from a star receiver. No safety help, no question, no margin for error, just you and him. And if you lose, everyone sees it. See, being a DB isn't just physically demanding. It's mentally brutal, because no matter how many plays you lock down, no one remembers. But the moment you give up a catch, it's a meme. It's a replay. It's your name trending for all the wrong reasons. That's the reality of this position. You get no credit, only blame. You could be perfect for 55 plays, but if you slip on the 56th, that's your reputation now. And that isolation eats at you. You're out there on an island, all alone, trying to guess what route a world-class athlete is going to run, while he knows exactly where he's going. You don't get to dictate. You don't get to improvise. You react or you lose. And when you lose, there's now here to hide. The D-line can blend in. The linebackers can make a mistake and still get another shot. But if you, the DB, get beat, that's points on the board. That's highlights on SportsCenter. That's your confidence getting shredded in real time. And the next time you line up, you're not just battling the receiver, you're battling your own thoughts. Don't get beat again. Don't slip. Don't look stupid. That inner monologue, becomes your worst enemy. It slows your reaction. It eats your instincts. And before you know it, you're playing scared. That's the death sentence for a DB, playing scared. Because once a receiver senses hesitation, he's gone. He knows you're beat before the ball is even snapped. And trust me, elite receivers smell fear. They hunt it. They chirp in your ear. They taunt after every catch. They point to the scoreboard. And worst of all, they know they'll get another chance. Because quarterbacks don't stop throwing stars. Coaches don't stop calling plays for WR1. They test you again and again until you break, or they do. That kind of mental strain, it's exhausting. You have to reset after every play. Forget the last catch. Ignore the noise. Block out the crowd. And line up again with the same swagger you had before everything fell apart. And let's talk about swagger for a second. You ever wonder why DBs celebrate every incompletion like they won the lottery? It's not arrogance. It's survival. When you're isolated all game, blamed for every mistake, and forced to defend a guy with every advantage, you learn to find joy in the little wins. That one breakup, that forced incompletion, that one time you guessed right, because you know the next play might go 60 yards over your head. You're living on a knife's edge. And the fans? They don't get it. They think defense is simple. Just stay in front of him. Just knock the ball down. Just tackle the guy. But they don't see the pre-snap reads, the route combinations, the bait-and-switch footwork, the head fakes, the shoulder twitches, the tempo shifts. It's an art form, and you're defending it in real time. And when you lose, it's not like the offense runs to pick you up. Even your own teammates give you that look like, come on, man. The pressure never ends. The support is minimal. The margin for error? Non-existent. You mess up once. You might not start again. You mess up twice. You might not be on the roster next week. That's the mental grind of being a DB. You live alone. You fail in public. And you carry that weight into every rep, every drill, every film session. And no one gives you grace. Because in the eyes of the game, you're either a lockdown legend or the dude who got mossed. No in between. Section 4. The physical toll no one talks about. Let's talk about pain. Not the emotional kind. The physical punishment of being a defensive back. Because while all eyes are on quarterbacks and receivers, it's the DBs who are silently breaking down. Piece by piece. Week after week. You're sprinting full speed dozens of times per game. Backpedaling. Flipping hips. Accelerating. Decelerating. Cutting. Over and over and over. You cover 70 to 90 yards on some plays, even if the ball never comes your way. And when it does come your way, brace for impact. You might take a shot from a tight end at full speed. You might get blindsided by a cracked block. You might land awkwardly after a jump ball. You might jam your fingers diving to swat a pass. And you can't show it, can't limp, can't hesitate, because the offense will see it and they'll target you immediately. This is a position that demands maximum speed and control at all times. But the body, it breaks down. Hamstrings tighten, groin strain, ankles swell, knees throb, and still, you run. You chase, you hit, you jump, because if you don't, you lose your spot. You lose your rep, you lose your job. Unlike other positions, you don't get rotated out. You don't take plays off. You're in the fire every single down, and every route run against you is designed to stress your body, to pull your muscles apart with quick cuts and sudden bursts. Elite receivers are trained to exhaust you, not just beat you, wear you down mentally and physically until your legs give out and your feet stop reacting. That's the secret nobody talks about. It's not just about getting beat once. It's about getting beat when you've been covering for 45 minutes and your lungs are on fire. You're not fresh like the receiver who just rotated in. You've been out there grinding the entire game, and your body is screaming. You think that's dramatic? Ask any veteran corner. Ask a 30-year-old DB how it feels to line up against a 22-year-old burner in the fourth quarter. They'll tell you, your legs are dead, your back is tight, your mind is trying to will your body through one more snap. But football doesn't care. The quarterback doesn't care. The receiver doesn't care. They see tired legs. They attack. And injuries? They pile up fast. DBs are constantly tweaking something. Toesprings, turf 2, heap saw, wrist fractures from breaking falls, concussions from helmet collisions during tackles. And most of the time, you play through it. Because if you don't, there's an other hungry DB on the depth chart ready to take your spot. There's no reward for playing hurt, but there's a big price for showing pain. So you pop anti-inflammatories. You tape it up, you tell the trainers, I'm good. And you go back out there. Because sitting out 1 week could cost you your starting job forever. This job isn't glamorous. It's grueling. You're not just fighting the receiver. You're fighting time, fatigue, the calendar, the reality that once you lose half a step, you're done. Because this league, it doesn't wait for aging corners. It replaces them quickly. So you spend your off season trying to stay fast, stay agile, stay lean, not to dominate, just to survive. Because once your body gives up, the league forgets your name. Just ask the dozens of DBs who disappeared the moment they hit 30. Not because they couldn't read a defense, not because they lost hard, but because their body couldn't handle the stress anymore. And no one writes articles about that. No one honors the grind it takes to line up snap after snap against the fastest athletes in the world. But every DB knows, behind every pass breakup is a body that's breaking. Behind every tight coverage is a joint that aches. And behind every silent Sunday on the injury report is pain buried deep. Because the moment you admit you're hurting is the moment the league moves on. Section 5. You're judged by the worst, not the best. In most jobs, you're measured by your consistency to wire a body of work. Your full resume. But if you're a defensive back, you're judged by your lowest moment. Not your highest. Not your average. Not the dozens of plays where you lock someone down. Just that one slip. You could have a Pro Bowl season. You could lead the team in passes defended. You could shut down top-tier receivers every week. But if you get beat badly once in a primetime game, that's it. That's the clip that lives forever. It becomes your reputation, your legacy, your curse. And fans, they don't forget. They'll bring up one touchdown you gave up 3 years ago like it happened yesterday. Didn't he get burned by Jefferson on that deep post? Isn't he the guy who gave up that game winner to Diggs? Can't trust him. He's a liability. Never mind that you've grown, improved, played lights out for months. All they see, all they remember, is your worst moment. It's brutal, but it's real. Because when you're a DB, you don't get grace. Not like quarterbacks, not like receivers. When a receiver drops a wide open pass, he gets a thumbs up. He gets told, you'll get the next one. When a quarterback throws a pick, it's he'll bounce back. But when you, a DB, give up a touchdown, you get benched. You get torched online. You get remembered as that guy. And it's not just the fans. Coaches, too. A young corner might make one mistake in week 3 and not see the field again until week 9. Because trust, once broken, is hard to regain, especially on defense. You don't get second chances. You get a short leash. One wrong step, and your playing time evaporates. And the media? Forget it. They don't analyze coverage schemes. They don't study route combinations. They don't mention how long the quarterback had to throw. They just circle your name in the box score and say, and other blown coverage by the secondary. Even if the safety didn't rotate. Even if the linebacker missed the reroute. Even if it was zone and the receiver just found a hole. It's on you, the DB, always. And here's the hardest part. Even when you win, it's silent. You lock down a top receiver, crickets. You take away an entire side of the field, no love. You force the quarterback to look away, reroute the play, settle for a check down. There's no stat for that. No press, no highlight. You don't make the headlines. You just make the offense uncomfortable. And invisible work doesn't sell tickets. So you grind in silence. You celebrate internally because you know the truth. Your best games are the ones no one talks about. Why? Because they didn't throw your way. And yet, your job is still on the line. Because if the team doesn't see picks, if the fans don't see fireworks, if the analysts don't see splash plays, they start to doubt you. Even if your silence is the proof of your dominance. It's a trap. You get blamed when things go wrong. You get ignored when things go right. And you get cut the moment someone faster, taller, or cheaper comes along. Being a DB means carrying your worst play like a scarlet letter, while your best ones fade into the background. And no matter how much you improve, no matter how locked in you are today, you're always one play away from losing the respect it took you years to earn. As we deeply discussed everything in all 5 sections, so now you know being a defensive back is the most thankless job in football. You run the most. You hit hard. You play hurt. You cover the most dangerous athletes on the field, backwards. And still, nobody cares until you mess up. You're invisible until you're exposed. There's no stat that tells the full story. No highlight reel that shows the 60 plays you erased your man. No camera angle that catches your footwork, your film study, your instincts. Just the one play where you got beat. And that becomes your identity. You work in the shadows. You operate under pressure. You survive in silence. You're the only position in football where perfection is expected and mistakes are fatal. And yet, you show up, week after week, snap after snap. You step onto that island, alone, with nothing but technique, instincts, and faith in your speed. You don't get to dictate the game. You react to it. You anticipate, guess, and pray your body can match your mind. Because that's the job. And when it goes wrong, the crowd erupts, the cameras zoom in, the announcers say your name for all the wrong reasons. You wear that failure publicly. You carry it into film rooms. You carry it into the next snap, into the next contract negotiation, into the next team that questions your value. Being a DB isn't just a job. It's a test of resilience. Every single play is a chance to lose your confidence, to lose your spot, to lose your legacy. But you fight through it. You line back up. You forget the last burn. You erase the last touchdown. You stand tall because you have no choice. That's the life of a defensive back. There's no glory unless you're great, and no forgiveness unless you're a star. Everyone else, just bodies in the background, ghosts of the game, scapegoats in waiting. So here's to the players on the island, the ones who get no credit, no protection, no merci, but still go to war every down against the best receivers in the world, knowing that if they lose even once, it's all anyone will remember. You might never hear their names. You might never know their stories. But make no mistake, they are warriors. And the ones who survive, they don't just play defense. They define it.